Hi everybody. I'm Laura Janusek. I am an EdTech startup veteran and product manager. And we're going to talk about estimations, specifically using estimations poker to come to consensus with your team. Okay, so what is estimations poker, or planning poker, or Scrum poker? It is a consensus-based estimation technique used by lots of people. The key is that it's consensus-based, so everyone's coming to an agreement on the estimate. It's not being dictated to you by external forces. How many of you have heard of the #NoEstimates debate? Okay, yeah, some. It's actually a pretty heated debate on social media. A lot of believers out there are saying we should not estimate at all. It's inaccurate. I think estimates can work. Here's how it works with estimations poker. You've got a product manager, they've got a list of things they want to estimate, and you've got your dev team. Originally, if you were playing in person, the dev team, each member would have a hand of cards, ace through king. And you select the card that corresponds with your estimate. If I think it's 3 points, I'll select my 3 card, put it down face down in front of me. And then everybody flips their cards at the same time. So you aren't biasing other people with your estimate. Everybody has to do it blindly. So if you flip, and in this case, everybody's estimating like 5 or 6 points, great. We have come to consensus. Let's call it 6 points. Let's move along. What you do with those numbers is really more important than the actual number. Where estimations poker really helps is when people aren't in agreement. So maybe somebody thinks it could be as high as 9 points, it could be as low as 3, so they get a chance to talk it out. Maybe one or both of them are confused about what you're really estimating, so you can clarify. Maybe the 3-point person actually has like a viable hack or a new technology that they know could get it done faster. Or maybe the 9-point person realizes there's a lot of complexity that the rest of you are overlooking, like we're gonna have to refactor this whole other thing. So you get a chance to argue about it, and the whole team has to listen, and then the whole team revotes. So not just the high and the low, but everybody revotes. There are disagreements on how to do this right. How do you get to the final estimate? Do you keep voting until everyone agrees, or do you just kind of average it out? Do you use the Fibonacci sequence, or do you use t-shirt sizes or story points? And do you time people? So whatever you do, there are benefits to doing it this way. It's going to prevent bias, it's going to promote accuracy, and it's going to help keep things organized, break things down into little tasks, and then you could actually make cuts based on how strongly people are estimating things. Here's a spreadsheet of when I've actually done planning poker with the team for a really big product build. You don't have to worry about it. There are better tools than using spreadsheets, but if you wanted to get scrappy and kind of hack something together, you could use a spreadsheet and have everybody enter their estimates at the same time. So these are real numbers. We estimated 196 story points for a really big project build. And so you might think, oh, if one story point is like a day, you have 6 developers, you should be able to do that, 30 points in a week, get it done in September. No, you have to factor in your team's velocity. Okay, for one thing, we were doing 20 points a week in velocity, so we're actually looking at maybe mid-October to get this done if you factor in velocity. This is why people hate estimates, because people aren't using velocity to actually figure it out. Also, you need to factor in maintenance. We had an existing product on the line. If we're spending about 3 points a week doing bug fixes, enhancements, our real velocity for this project is 17, so use that as your denominator. You're looking at the end of October. But no, actually, we have historically experienced over 30% increase from our original estimates due to unknowns like technical complexity and scope creep. So if you factor that in from the start, knowing that you're probably gonna have to deal with that, you're looking at the end of November, which is Thanksgiving. So you have to assume people are gonna take that week off, people are gonna get sick, people have vacation days. You have to factor that in as well to the timeline. You can't assume everyone's gonna be there every day. And last but certainly not least, you need to make sure that you are planning in time for QA. Obviously, that should be happening throughout the entire process, but if it's a major release, it's a good idea to have maybe a cushion week of regression testing as you're moving up to your pre-production environment, right? So this is why people hate estimates, because they aren't factoring in all of those additional numbers. You have to factor in your velocity, maintenance, unknown, days off, and QA. And if you do that, then the estimates are helpful. If you don't, then you might as well #NoEstimates, because it's gonna be way off. These are real numbers. We released on December 13th, right? Yeah, thanks. Can you imagine how pissed everyone would be if I had told people we were releasing in September from those estimates? Yeah, it would have been a nightmare. There are some really good tools online if you want to explore how to do estimations poker. Planning poker is kind of the industry standard, but there are all different ones, and the bottom 2 are open source if you want to kind of play with those, get your hands dirty if that's your thing. All right, thanks.